Hey everybody, it's Jordan. It is Friday, May 24th, and I'm tuning back in because I said I was gonna weigh in on and I'm late, but I was supposed to do this earlier, right after my last video that I posted. Weigh in on the Red Table with Jada Pinkett Smith, her mom, and her daughter, as well as the Currys, the one featuring the Currys, the ladies of the Currys family, and I just wanted to highlight that most people like to take information and run with it. And most of the people who probably were capitalizing on that one comment that Ayesha Curry made about, wanting to be noticed by by other men, in addition to her husband, and that making her feel like she still had it, or making her wonder if something was wrong with her. Like, that was like 2 seconds of the whole Red Table Talk. And I made this post on May 13th that just talked about the more important things that were discussed at that Red Table Talk. One of them being, and there were 3 points, one of them being anxiety. May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and the ladies took a good 7 minutes or more to talk about anxiety in general, and at least 3 of them confessed to having issues with anxiety, and how they cope with it. And I think that was a very helpful point for viewers to listen to get feedback on, to know that they're not the only ones dealing with it, for those who do deal with anxiety, and how to treat it, or just to know that they're not alone. So Jada talked about Willow having anxiety, and she herself having anxiety, and how they deal with it. And I can't remember who else. Ayesha Curry said she had anxiety, and that she even takes medicine for it. And she didn't even have to share that with us, but she did. So with them being transparent, that was very giving of them. That was very kind of them to share on something that on another thing that people could judge them on. People judge on anything. I know that's a mental setback maybe sometimes, but people talk about anything. So that was good for them to share that and talk about it and get it out there and discuss ways to cope and the ways they treat it. Then look, I should have gotten names. Fiance of, I believe it's Steph Curry's brother. I don't remember, but they had just gotten engaged the day before the Red Table Talk. That young lady talked about race, and she talked about how her dad is black and her mom is white, and they were on a trip a long time ago when she was a little girl. She had to be like 12 or something, so she didn't really understand what was going on. But she said when they went on this trip, their house was set on fire. They came back to nothing, and she did not know then that it was a race targeted or race related attack. And now she understands, and that was something that woke her up to the fact that her dad was black, her mom was white. She never really thought much of it, and that's something that highlighted that for her and made her wonder, is there an issue, and why is there an issue with my parents being 2 different races? She didn't think much of it, and that's how I don't want to say blind as if it's a bad thing. That's how blind we are as children to race, and how you can attest to racism and prejudice being taught. It's something that you learn. It's something that you become aware of over time as you see things and you witness things and you experience things, because you're not born to hate someone who looks different than you. There's no way. So she talked about that, and the last thing was marriage. And I posted that there's so many people who can't weigh in on marriage. Maybe they've never been married before. They haven't witnessed their parents being married, whatever the reason is. And I made this statement in a non-judgmental way, but the fact that there was so much more to talk about, but I guess people couldn't really, I don't know, healthily or verbalize their take on marriage because they didn't know how or what. I don't know. But that was something that each of the women who were married, even the young lady that's engaged, they talked about. Sidel, I think that's Steph Curry's sister, talked about how she manages her marriage with her husband, traveling a lot, and their communication, and just how she copes with that. Steph Curry's mom weighed in on marriage, and she talked about each of them talked about having their own voice in addition to being one with this other person. Jada Pinkett Smith weighed in on that, and Ayesha weighed in on that, and they talked about wanting to set a foundation for their own brand, their themselves, just, you know, making sure that they weren't always I guess under their husband's wing, which is not, it's all about perspective. It's not always a bad thing, but they want to have something that they can call their own, I guess, to be independent but still be a wife and a mom. And they talked about identity in marriage, which is very important to talk about. It's nothing bad about it, and it's something to always be aware of. So it was a good table talk. There was so much more to talk about than what has been capitalized on social media. So yeah, anxiety, mental health, race, and marriage. Those were the main 3 things that I took from that Red Table Talk. So you might want to watch it again if you didn't get any more from it, or if you were just one who saw the comments and was wondering why it was so. And I'm probably sure by now that you weighed in on it and that you've watched the full video if you cared to. So that's my take on it. This is Jordan. Catch my blog, Joy with Jordan. Follow me on Instagram, Joy with Jordan. I'll soon be changing it to just @Jordan Riles, and on Facebook, Jordan Riles. Talk to y'all later.